Welcome to the fifth and final installment of our Rental Self-Management Masterclass. We've spent the last 4 videos deep diving into preparation, marketing, screening, and management. To wrap it all up, I'm doing a rapid fire Q&A to hit the most frequently asked questions I get, ensuring you have total clarity before you head out and manage your own. Enjoy.
When I first started, I'm a firm believer of the crawl, walk, run mindset. So don't try to jump right into the deep end. Some people are YOLO and they'll do it. Sometimes they succeed, sometimes they drown. I'm a little bit more conservative. So when I first started, I was buying 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes. I said, 3 renters per home gives me that experience. And then I started looking at the profit margins and I said, I get more money if I get 4 bedrooms and 3 full bathrooms. So the last few, I think, have been 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. And because they are room by room rental, there is a significant amount of additional revenue per month I get than if I was to rent the whole home by itself. Absolutely. Yes. You're renting to college students. There's drama. And I'll tell you the 2 primary ones. Noise complaints, cleanliness. Everyone has their own spectrum in terms of where they are in the clean spectrum. And then everyone has their own spectrum when it comes to the noise aspect. So those are the 2 big ones. I haven't had any. I think part of it is the market I selected. I knew before I started coming here, I knew that KSU, my university, was growing. I have not had to run any ads. I'm always at capacity. I think this home right now, Shiloh, is the longest vacancy I've seen, which is 2 or 3 weeks. Well, the answer is twofold. One is incredibly simple. One is time. You hit on this, I think, last Tuesday. I don't remember exactly what context, but everything has an opportunity cost. And I've known that from when I started doing this. At some point, the juice isn't worth the squeeze anymore. And there's bigger and better things for you to invest your time in and you delegate out. That's where I'm at now. This worked wonderfully for, I would say, and again, goes back to why I preach this. I think everyone should strive to own 1 residential investment property. 1. If you think you can do it, 2. I actually don't encourage more than 2. Even though I've got 8, I think back and I'm like, gee, like that's crazy. If I did get more than 2, I'd hire a property manager, or honestly, I'd start commercial real estate sooner, more likely. But the other reality is, without going into more details, more than happy to do one-on-ones. The late rents, the drama, that's easy. You can solve that. There are other issues I've run into that are mentally straining. I'm very rare edge cases. Like I said, more than happy to talk about it. But once you experience something that no one talks about, you're like, okay, I think it's time to hire a PM. Definitely before moving, no doubt. There are edge cases. So I love getting people to commit and sign a lease, even if they don't move in for another 1 to whatever months. Again, sometimes I get people that they're like, hey, I'm looking for 3 months out, and I know that room's going to be vacant. So I get them locked in the day after I move out. They move in the next day. So if they sign a lease, my clause, and I learned this the hard way, is security deposit is due 2 weeks after signing, non-negotiable. The reason for that is I've had situations where someone does what I just said, and then it's 3 days before move-in, and they tell me, oh, Adrian, life happened. I don't care the reason, not moving forward, and I don't have a security deposit to keep anymore. So, and then I have to rush through getting that filled. So 2 weeks after signing and or prior to move-in, whichever one is first. The biggest amount of time I spend is honestly gathering utility bills, because all the utility bills are under my name. So I gather all of them, and then I calculate what each person owes, and then I put it through apartments.com as a bill. If I wanted to not do a good chunk of my own repairs, renovations, it wouldn't take a lot of time, y'all, to be honest. I think I hinted at this earlier. The other big time chunk is taking the time out of my day to meet people and do tours, If, if a person doesn't immediately sign, and I might have to do two, three, four, five tours, it adds up. Doing the move out inspection, like every time I visit the property, it's a time sink, but the actual, uh, and I think I hinted at this also earlier, the actual marketing, finding renters is actually pretty low time cost for me because of the way I've already got everything kind of set up. Apartments.com is the primary. Again, I love this thing, right? I mean, renters got direct bank ACH transfers at no fee, or they can use credit cards for whatever I think the fee apartments.com charges them is 2.5% or something like that. So that's my primary. But again, part of my business model is, and with college students, is I give them options. So even though it might be a little bit more uh, involved, but I also do Venmo. With Venmo, I have to uh, record payment link. Again, I don't want to click on it because I think the address comes up. But when I click record payment, the reason you do this is for those situations where you're doing off apartments.com payments. So I can add an offline payment here, and again, everything is centralized here, all the ledger. So even though I'm getting money elsewhere, I feed that into my business account, checks and balances, all there for accounting purposes. And then the third avenue that I'm a big fan of is Zelle. If your business bank account supports it, renters love that convenience as well. Let's just call it between 3 to 5 business days, I believe, is when I see things come through. I'd have to look at an email. I do know that there's a deposits are available faster if apartments.com somehow determines that the sendee is trustable. And in my emails that I get from them every time I get payment, it'll show a little lightning bolt and they'll tell me your deposit will be there the next day, kind of thing. Like all things, you do this long enough, you try all things, right? Um, my default is not co-ed, mainly because it's difficult to find. Again, depends on the market, but even college students, some of them are iffy on the whole co-ed. So I prioritize their preferences. I have had a situation where like they're like, yeah, we don't care. Oh, it is fine. And I've had a few homes where we do that. One home worked perfectly, no issues. Um, I have stories for y'all. I mean, we should grab drinks at some point. Maybe we'll do it when we meet up at the gathering. But I am very much more reserved when it comes to co-ed. We'll say that. Not squatters, because I do my places are so close to where I'm at, and I always have room by room rentals, which means renters tell me, "Who the hell is this guy? That
Okay.
doesn't belong here." They'll come to me about it. Um, Evictions, probably the well, form. I've had one type of eviction. Again, story won't be told unless we're in person. But I would say the most recent eviction sucked. It was the first one where I actually had to go through the formal process because this person was not communicative. 2 months late in rent. Um, we put the pre-eviction notice, very confrontational, borderline aggressive. And then we went through the court system, and the court system, in my opinion, is not as streamlined as I'd like it to be. So, basically, what was it? Almost 2 months later, we finally get a mediation opportunity with the court before we talk to a judge, come up with an agreement, and then they move out in 2 weeks later. And all this time, it's they're not paying,
Yeah.
right? So you all notice, Georgie preaches this for commercial real estate. I preach it for also residential. Yeah, if you cannot have your business 3, 4 months without getting a single rent payment, you're in trouble. You have to have enough runway to cover those type of unforeseen expenses, or in this case, potential eviction processes. Not the formal renewal page, just a text that I could automate. Hey, just checking in. Are you thinking of renewing? What's your level of confidence? And a lot of folks tell me at that point, oh, Adrian, thanks for reaching out. I decided not to renew. Awesome, great to know. I'm going to be getting my marketing 90 days out. And again, a lot of times my average vacancy is 1 to 2 days because that's how quickly I can move. And person goes out, new person comes in. I do tours while people are still at the house. So yeah, I do plus one that there's a reason 90 days works there, and it's just to hear in case an individual's already made a decision by that far out. I used to say as soon as that individual commits to it, let's just lock it in writing. It's a one-page renewal template I have up here. Uh, yeah, here it is. Yeah, very basic renewal template. But yeah, if they know for sure, even if it's 2, 3 months out, I'll say, do you want to commit to it? We can sign this. Just know, like that's a commitment. Or I tell them, like, let's maybe wait a month. Like, I'm glad that you told me. I won't market it. Let's wait maybe 60 days or 30 days before and just make sure nothing changes on your end. Again, I just feel like that some of these college students, they sometimes don't think that far ahead. And they're like, yeah, I want to lock in, but in reality, things might happen. Yeah, great question. I've got three options. 12-month, lowest monthly rent.
Mhm.
6 month, a little bit more expensive. Month to month with minimum 3 months, most expensive. And technically, I try to do the month to month a little under the radar because my insurance policies goes up if I don't do long-term rentals. One last thing just to mention, one of the things I'm proud of, right? I think the longest renter that's lived with me is 7 years. I met him when he was just a 19-year-old snotty kid. Now he's graduated from KSU and he's looking to buy his first home. I hope I can help him do that. And I actually has ran by the idea for him. You've lived in this house for 7 years. You've lived here longer than I have. Would you want to buy it? I've
Nice.
entertained that offer with him. And I keep it open. I've got another renter that told me, yeah, he's going to be in the market next year. And I told him, I've got 2 homes that I'm probably going to be selling next year in 1031 exchanging. Hit me up. We can work something else together. And then I've had a renter that I was very proud of her. She was renting at a duplex of mine for 2, 3 years. And when she bought her home, I was like, I'm so happy for you. And she's like, hey, Adrian, like, is it okay if I move out a month earlier? Like, I hate to break my lease. What's the fee? I'm like, uh, Barbara, no. I mean, you bought your first house. That's amazing. Like, let's just give me enough heads up. You've done that. We'll just cut the lease a little early, move into your house. Like, there's, again, maybe I'm running business too nice, but those type of people are going to remember that. Then you never know how that's going to come back to you in a business format.
Folks, that's a wrap on the Rental Self-Management Masterclass. By now, you have the tools, the tech, and the templates to manage your properties like a pro and keep that overhead low. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Now go out there, take action, and start managing your path to long-term multi-generation wealth creation. Good luck.